So this is almost like a part 2 to my why you should play Wanderstop 2.5 times video, but I feel like it's distinct enough to warrant its own section. Think of it as a microcosm of that video, zoomed in on so we can see every little cell and organism. For the most part, there are 2 different styles you can play Alta. You can be the good little girl who decides to lean in on the taking a break action as much as you can bear, or you can be a little jerk who runs away at every opportunity you can get and then some. Essentially, it's the idea of embracing change versus rejecting it, right? But in some ways, no matter what you do, Alta has changed, simply by being here, at Wanderstop. So when it comes to the 2 options with Monster and the sword, I'd assume the outcome would always be the same. Either Alta doesn't take it from her and has a smooth sailing with the communication, or she does try to and takes a little bit longer, but ultimately does see that other side of Monster and comes to a standing, just a bit slower. I mean, it's what happens in most other choice games, right? Oh my god. Oh my god. I mean, I was just singing the praises for this game, having so many little divergent things. Why does this one make me feel so icky? I think part of it is that Alta tried to kill Monster, a child. The girl literally does not even comprehend the danger she is in when Alta is pinning her down. And her passing out and waking up tomorrow and getting the "seeing is a wonderful first step" felt like a mockery almost compared to getting it the first time around when I picked the other choice. Monster will say it's alright, but even Alta has to step in and say, no, this is not the right lesson to learn. I would have stopped playing right there if it wasn't for the fact that I did not want this to be something I would have to finish later. I was so distraught. I literally even force exited the game when I couldn't leave for the credits. I'm sorry I rewrote, but I was too emotionally drained. And it stands to reason. Why even have an option like that in the game? Really, actually, the first thing I asked myself after logging off was, did I enjoy that ending? As in, is my sadness residual sadness from seeing the outcome go so terribly, or sadness because it was a bad ending? It was obviously the first one, but then I wanted to think about why it gutted me so. Like, why was this option in the game? One reason people tend to hate ultimatums in games like these is because it makes it feel like all past choices don't matter. And while I'd argue that this is a little different, it adds to the perception of Alta and genuineness in different ways, overall, yeah. You can always pick either of those 2 options, no matter what you've done before. And is this an oversight? Is this something that makes Wanderstop all the weaker? Well, I do think this is divisive, and some people might disagree. I'd argue that it doesn't. Wanderstop is all the stronger for this, simply because of how true it is to life and how true it is to its themes. There's growth from Alta no matter what, but the degree and acceptance she can show it varies. And while Alta has a general upward trend in how she treats people and works at Wanderstop, she can also stay stagnant, insisting that she's a fighter who's never been beat, is going to go back to fighting, that this is all a weird little blip that's going to be erased from her mind as soon as possible. And yet, she can still choose to let Monster take the sword after all this. People are complicated. Actually, let me do that again. People, ha! Hey, people are complicated! But really though, there is no marked perfect answer. All we ever are just people trying our best. The fact that an Alta who strives to stay constant is allowed to make the choice to help Monster, while an Alta who embraces change can make the opposite choice to almost kill her, well, it's real. You can do everything right and still make the wrong choices. You can do everything wrong and still make the right choices. It all just ties back into what Nana said. There are no bad people, just bad choices. I think it would be good to point out the ambiguity in the choices. There is a child with a sword. Do you want to A. let her have it? Free reign? Hello? B. Yeah, sure, punch a snarl over. It's your sword. Duh. Neither of these sound like good choices. That's the point. Alta, with whatever little knowledge and misgivings she has to make a choice. That is how it is so often. Things are shrouded in obscurity until we finally have hindsight to look back clearly after leaving the fog. But when you're in the midst of it, the only way out is through. Maybe any outsider who has a sideline view could say you took the most ridiculous path, but when you're the one in the thick of all these things, it's tough. And while the choices do have the main two threads of A tying into trust while B ties into violence/force/control, it's still not an easy decision. I think it's important that Alta can backslide. Not just if she does all the right things, but also if she does all the wrong things, or some silly mix of both in varying ways. People do not just intake lessons a day after learning them. It takes forever to internalize them, and even longer to actually put them forth. Even years after you have executed better decisions, you will still backslide. And that's just normal. To err is to human. Hey, you said that wrong. So yeah, that was perhaps the most devastating thing to come out of the game for me. Love the fact that's there, though. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I don't know. Q fan cam! Sylvia, yay!